Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, President Eisenhower's Air Force One to fly again, Allied Pilots Association wants a second cockpit barrier, Boeing 787-10 assembly begins. I'm Bree Cross, it's March 17th, 2016, and this is Airborne Unlimited. The first airplane to be designated Air Force One is nearly ready to fly again. The Lockheed Constellation, named Columbine-2, is in the final stages of restoration. When completed, the restoration will not only make it airworthy, it will restore the aircraft to full FAA certification status. The team working to restore the Columbine-2 is nearly ready to ferry the plane to Bridgewater, Virginia, where the restoration will be completed. But the team also says that flight won't just be under an airworthiness certificate for a ferry flight. It will be able to make the trip as a certified aircraft. The 1948 Connie served as Air Force One for President Dwight Eisenhower from 1952 to 1954 and was the only Air Force One airplane to be sold by the U.S. government. It had been relegated to be used for spare parts when it was found. The aircraft has much of the original interior, instruments, avionics, and other important historical details. The Allied Pilots Association has expressed strong support for legislation that would require secondary cockpit barriers for larger commercial airliners. Two bills are being legislated at the federal level that would mandate secondary cockpit barriers for Part 121 commercial aircraft equipped with more than 75 passenger seats with a maximum gross takeoff weight exceeding 75,000 pounds. The House and Senate versions of the bill are titled the Saraceni Aviation Act of 2015. It is expected that both the House and Senate versions of the bill will be included in the Aviation Innovation Reform and Reauthorization Act. APA President Captain Keith Wilson said in part, quote, "Secondary cockpit barriers would enhance aviation security, and we urge Congress to require their adoption." After the break, the Boeing 787-10 is ahead of schedule.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Redbird is quickly becoming the industry standard for flight training. Since Redbird introduced its revolutionary FMX in 2007, colleges, universities, and flight training operations around the world have integrated Redbird products into their curriculum. It's time to discover what Redbird can do for you. Join the migration.
Welcome back. If you have a story suggestion for Airborne Unlimited, Aero-TV, our website or podcast, just email to news-spy@aero-news.net. Boeing reports that major assembly of the first Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner is underway. Boeing partner Kawasaki Heavy Industries began installing the circular frames into the mid-forward section of the fuselage this week, which is 2 weeks ahead of schedule. As a straightforward stretch of the 787-9, which entered into service in 2014, 95% of the design and build of the 787-10 and 787-9 will be identical. The 787-10 will undergo final assembly at Boeing South Carolina in North Charleston, and deliveries are expected to begin in 2018. To date, the 787-10 has won 153 orders from 9 customers around the world, accounting for 13% of all 787 orders. It's Thursday, which means that it's time for an Aero Community Update, highlighting news and information about the incredible people and organizations that populate the Airborne Partnership Initiative behind Airborne Unlimited. This week, the partner we highlight is a museum that lives and breathes. We all know them as the Commemorative Air Force, or more commonly referred to simply as the CAF. The CAF brings a combination of leadership, commitment to the past, and an eye to the future to our team. The CAF got its start when Lloyd Nolan and a small group of ex-service pilots from the Rio Grande Valley in Texas pooled their money to purchase a P-51 Mustang in 1957. As other airplanes were added, it was decided to formalize the organization and establish the goal of acquiring, maintaining, and flying the aircraft of World War II for the purpose of preserving a living and breathing image of what occurred in those dark days. Recently, the CAF Red Tail Squadron, America's tribute to the Tuskegee Airmen, announced that because of the generous support of their donors, they were able to provide 178 of their Rise Above resource kits to schools in honor of Black History Month. The kit is based on the CAF Red Tail Squadron's 6 guiding principles, which are aim high, believe in yourself, use your brain, be ready to go, never quit, and expect to win. They bring the lessons of the Tuskegee Airmen out of the history books straight into the everyday lives of students. After these messages, a new California airline may start service soon.
Concorde's recombinant gas RG series sealed battery technology produces a high-performance battery with the advantages of being pre-tested and fully charged at the factory. Find out more about Concorde's entire line of batteries at www.concordebattery.com. Concorde, the heart of your aircraft.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip. With integral backup battery, safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
Welcome back. With so much news coming out of the aviation industry, we're summarizing some other interesting stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. California Pacific Airlines first applied for an air carrier certificate in 2010, but has been plagued by delays. Now the Carlsbad-based airline, which hopes to start flying in ERJ-135 airplanes, says that it is within 4 months of beginning service. Musician Bryan Adams says that custom officials in Cairo, Egypt, defaced his vintage 1946 Martin D18 guitar with graffiti written in green ink. Adams was traveling from Cairo, where he had performed a concert at the Giza Pyramids. It's reported that one of China's largest manufacturers of car and motorcycle engines is looking to acquire general aviation companies. Zhongshan Industrial Group is looking at companies that produce airplanes or aviation components in the U.S., Europe, Ukraine, and Belarus. Air Force officials testifying before a Senate subcommittee said that they would like to restore $700 million cut from the F-35 procurement program. Committee members said it might be prudent to restart production of the F-22, and some members supported restarting the Lightning II program. A base jumper leaped from the top of the Shard, a 1,016-foot-tall skyscraper in London last week, and witnesses captured the stunt on video. After landing on the street, the jumper walked away, and no arrest has been reported. Well, that's a trip around the patch. Now let's move on to the rest of the news. It seems like county officials in Laguna Beach, California understand the system when they advise residents of the city to direct their complaints about airplane noise or low flying directly to the FAA. The city has posted contact information for the FAA on their website and tells residents that they should make reports directly to the agency. The website explains that the FAA regulates the altitude, speed, direction, or location of aircraft in flight, and reports should be made to the local FAA Flight Standards District Office in Long Beach. The website also describes email procedures for making the reports, and it provides FAA website information. While a number of airports have encountered complaints as a result of next-gen rerouting of air traffic, an FAA spokesman told the Los Angeles Times that the agency has not made any changes in flight paths into or out of John Wayne Airport, and it does not plan to do so with the implementation of next-gen. Well, that's our program for today. Remember to get comprehensive real-time 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Remember that Airborne Unlimited is streamed daily Monday through Friday with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. Please join us in a growing roster of over 100 outstanding industry associations and organizations every weekday for the best in aviation and aerospace news from the staff of the Aero-News Network, the aviation world's most comprehensive news and information resource.